Hi guys, welcome back to Mindless Podcast. Today we're filming the bonus for the previous episode. If you haven't seen it already, unsolicited advice. So today we're going to be doing one last question before we leave for a little break. And the question is, we're not going to have a school dance in my school. What should I do to replicate it?
I didn't think about this beforehand too.
I didn't think about this either. Do you want to
Okay.
word vomit it? Or?
Good. I think the clear answer here, right? You don't have a school dance at school, but you want to have a dance. Quick question: do you not have a school dance because it's a pandemic, or is it there another reason?
Pandemic.
Yeah, we're saying pandemic.
All right. So you don't have a school dance, and you can't have people over because pandemic, right? So what do? How do you fix this great injustice? And the answer is.
The first thing that came to mind was the hokey pokey. I don't know why.
Do the hokey pokey at home in your room with the lights off, so you don't have to see your own shame.
I mean,
go on Zoom and do the electric slide, you know.
Yeah, just like one hop this time, and then 1,000 of the little boxes just go doink.
So really, you can sort of kind of just do it at home. Do like those line dances, but do it at home. Do like the can and have your feet all kicking up with the pretty dresses and whatnot. Wear shorts and just do the line dance, but by yourself. But in Zoom, make it look like you're in a line with your arms out.
Yeah. You could do the beat it dance from PE. Yeah, for that one.
My memory.
I remember the song, but I don't remember what we did.
There was this one part where you had to shake your butt, and everyone got really up in arms about it. Do you remember that?
But the PE teacher was like she was really
into it. I was I stood there and I was like, no, I'm not. No.
You just kind of.
She was like, guys, move.
You just kind of moved your hips like up and down like that, but it was still sort of a lot for all of the middle schoolers who were like, I'm already in like an unflattering red short and shorts. Already in unflattering red shirt and shorts.
Mm-hmm. My mom laughed at me the first day when I showed her that was what we were wearing for PE.
I'm an awkward teenager. I'm with a bunch of people I don't know very well and also don't necessarily like. And we're all expected to stand in neat rows and do this dance while other.
Can we just do dance unit stories instead of this one? Because our dance question was awful.
I just can't think.
Me all the time.
Because,
surely something happened during dance unit. So.
I kind of already told my dance unit stories, not gonna lie.
I remember one time, it was near the end of PE. It was near the end of the period, and I think we were doing the beat up dance. I don't remember, but we were all in lines. We were all in our lines, like, you know, half-heartedly dancing. Some people put their all into it. Some people were like kind of sort of half-hearted shuffling. Most people were somewhere in between. It was like net effort of 75% usually. But the way dance unit worked at our school, at our middle school, was that the female PE teachers, they're the ones who would have the dance unit, and the male teachers wouldn't. I heard they did wrestling. I don't know if that was true or not. I never had a male PE teacher.
We did something we just did one of the other units, like one of the normal ones.
The male PE teachers just didn't have dance.
I think we did golf.
It was just the two female PE teachers whose classes had a dance unit. Which seems kind of weird now that I think
weird. Like, why isn't it everyone has dance unit? I don't understand if you want it at different times because of gym's capacity, but like, it's just weird.
Some people didn't have to go through the torture of shame.
I think the dance unit was more of a passion project of the two female PE teachers. So it was just the two female PE teachers, and there's usually like between 4 to 5 PE classes going a period by a number of different PE teachers. So there were 2 classes of PE in the gym doing the dance, and it was near the end of the period. And the male PE teachers, or at least one of the classes, maybe multiple, had let their students out early. And the gym at our middle school, there was like a lobby that the gym was attached to. It was open on 3 sides, I mean, not open, but like the doors opened to outside on three sides. But then on one of the sides, it opened to a lobby it was just sort of like indoor. It had a couple water fountains and like the trophy case with a bunch of like news clippings from when the Giants won the World Series. It had a bunch of them.
I don't remember that. I only remember
You did any of that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
the bulletin board in the like across the trophy case. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the girls and boys locker room on either side of the trophy case, right? And the locker rooms are almost always locked until a PE teacher comes to unlock them. They're locked during PE class, which means when people are let out early, they're just milling about the lobby. Most of the time, they line up and just stand in line to go into the locker rooms because people want to get out of their clothes and get to their next class as soon as possible. Right? But they were let out a little bit early, and then the guy PE teachers had made their way to the lobbyette, so they couldn't go into the locker rooms, or the girl PE teachers. No one had come in, so all of the students just couldn't go into their locker rooms. So they just stood outside the doors of the gym and watched us while we danced.
Yeah, I remember that because they'd all be released early because they had to change. Like, they gave us time to change, and so, like, you all just watch. And so you're, like, dancing, and these people just come and stand right in front of the door and just stare.
They all, like, congregated. There were two doorways into the gym on that side, and then they would just, like, congregate, and you could see the 4 or 5 people in the front, and then a bunch of people, like, behind them. Right? Just all sort of standing and watching. And like, it wasn't out of any sort of malice. It was probably just out of, like, a strange curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Because some of them, the people who had dance unit before were sympathetic, and the people who hadn't had dance unit before were, like, intrigued. And people would, like, call out and make fun of their friends, right? But no one was making fun of, like, the group as a whole.
No, they were making fun of specific people, like, oh, you're dancing with him or you're dancing with her.
Yeah, they would call out their friends and, like, tease them for dancing, right? But then there was all of us having to do the strange sort of, like, weird hip waggle in the beat it dance while 2 other classes of PE just stood at the door staring at us and were like, why do we have to go through this? Anyway.
Wait, can I tell one story pretty quickly?
Yeah.
Because I just remembered it, because I kind of suppressed it, because it was weird. Okay, so Melanie brought up, so yes, so the girl PE teachers, they did dance unit. Now I heard, like, I was coming into the locker room or whatever, and I heard some girl, it's like, what'd you do? And she was in one of the boy PE teacher classes, and she was, like, wrestling. And one of the years because 2 out of the 3 years I had a boy PE teacher, and I was like, oh God, when are we going to have to wrestle? And anyway, I think this was, oh God, it might have been 8th grade. So it's like, you kind of feel like you're cool because you're going to go into high school and whatever. Anyways, we went into a room we had never gone into. And it was actually just like another classroom, but I was like, oh God, we're going to be doing wrestling.
Was it near like the science teacher, the science teacher?
It was near the band room.
Yeah. It's like,
you know where all the 4 squares are, and then there's like that room?
Yeah.
It's that one. Someone used classroom. And I was like, oh no, is this today? Are we doing wrestling today? Oh God. But no, we went in, and like there's a bunch of like equipment there. Like it looked kind of like a crappy weight room. But anyways. No, you know what we did that day? What we all did, it was very small because it was a classroom. So there was like other stuff, okay? And we all sat in a circle. And you would get a partner, and the 2 of you would get up. You both held the end of a shirt, right? And you had these like belts that had these little Velcro like tails on them. Okay, so you can like rip them off, and it's just like a strip of.
It's like capture the flag. Stuff that we.
It was for like sharks versus minnows or whatever. So like if you grabbed and you pulled off someone's thing, you like tag them, right? So they're hanging like on your waist, and what you did is you both have the end of a shirt. And when he blows the whistle, you have to hang onto the shirt and try to grab and rip off the other person's thing. And so all I remember, and the boys were so frantic because they're both like with the shirt, but then there's a lot of grabbing at each other, and it's like by the waist, the thing moves around kind of thing. There's a lot of aggressive grabbing and like shuffling, and it's all very small, and we're all like surrounding you, so it's like fight. It's like very like intense. Like the whole class is just sitting on the ground, staring up at you, and watch as you both like do like that basketball dodging thing, and you're trying to like grab each other around the waist area because that's where the flag hits, and it usually like goes around and you grab people's butts, and it was like super weird. It was actually weirder when either couples would go because they'd be like, oh, you want to be my partner? Because little did they know what was happening, or it was like a girl and a boy, whether they were friends or whatever. It was just really awkward because you could tell he didn't want to like grab, obviously, but it was like, but I want to win. And I remember my partner, she was so nice because all the girls would probably like, they usually would partner with each other.
Mm-hmm.
The girl that I had, she was really short, and so I didn't want to go easy on her because I feel like that's kind of like mean because like that's like me assuming, oh, you can't do it, you're short. No offense, Melanie. No offense. But she was also like kind of the shy, quiet girl. And so we didn't know. We were like, you want to be my partner because we're friends? Yeah. And then little do you know, we're going to be like grabbing at each other aggressively with like a shirt in between us in front of everyone. It was awkward. Visually, it was awkward because I was like way taller than her.
Even hearing it.
Yeah, you were doing
this. Awkward. It was actually rather entertaining, except for when it's your turn. And then it's like you versus your friend and one's grabbing and you're like, a lot of grabbing. And also, when you go to grab, you're thinking you're trying to like grab and pull, so you're gonna like pull their shorts. I remember that some kid like almost pulled we would pull down this kid's shorts, and we're all like, oh! But the shirts we were wearing were so long and ugly looking, so yeah.
That's true. Yeah, being short would give her an advantage because
technically you have longer arms. But yeah, then you really gotta go down.
But she's closer to your waist height than you are to her.
That really was one of the days where the PE teacher just like, I don't know, this is a game we made up, and we didn't have anything planned, and they're using like the court, so we're just gonna come in here and you guys can grab each other. It was really weird. One day, it wasn't even a unit, because what are you learning? You're learning nothing. It was just a fun day.
Wait, but you're saying is that people, a pair went one at a time, while everyone else congregated in a circle.
Everyone is around you, and they're like cheering, kind of.
Like it was a middle school fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't like fight, but you're all sitting around, and it technically is a competition that it feels very much like that. Everyone's just sitting there watching.
I would give so much to be in one of those situations because I genuinely want to know how I do.
I mean,
I wouldn't want to be in it, but I do agree with Eva. It'd be interesting to watch. But also,
it was fun to watch. But then it was like, oh, you're up.
You describing that is it's so weird. Like the concept, I get the basic idea of the concept.
Did you guys not do this?
No.
I went into that room. You know what he do? When we went into that room, he tells stories about this one person who used to be a lawyer for really, really bad guys, and was really good at it. And the bad guys always got away. And then at the end of his life, he tattled on everyone because he didn't want to be a bad guy lawyer anymore. And it was really depressing because then he got killed after, and then his son did blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is so depressing. And that's what we did in that room. We did not do anything like that.
Class?
You didn't get surrounded by kids in your class while you tried to aggressively yank on people's clothes?
About the things he heard in a podcast.
I never did any of this.
The boy PE teacher was something else, because really it was just whatever they felt like doing that day. We're playing capture the flag again today. Suck it up and do it.
I wish I had a guy PE teacher. They were, not really. They were so much more chill though. Like the girl PE teachers actually cared and wanted you to do work. The guy PE teachers would play weird grabby games or tell you depressing stories about a lawyer who defended bad people.
We played a toilet tag game. It was called toilet tag. Did you guys play toilet tag?
Wait, that was when you got tagged, you had to squat down and stick your arm out. I remember playing that in elementary school. I didn't play it in middle school though.
Also, the disadvantage because the way they tag you, they had these pool noodles, so you could be 5 feet away and they'll be like bonk. You're tagged, and then you just gotta stand there and you hold out your arm so that way someone who isn't tagged, it's kind of like freeze tag. They push your arm down and then you have to make a flush sound. The teacher emphasized you gotta make that flush sound.
I can't remember if this was elementary school or middle school. But there was like this one tag game where I think this was middle school. I'm almost certain this was middle school, but it was like this weird tag where like if you got tagged, you had to stand with like your legs like out like this, and someone had to like crawl between your
Yeah.
legs. Do you remember
Wait,
that?
I remember that. No,
And
I
that
had that in middle school. Same boy PE teacher. It was very strange.
Yeah.
All the boys were like, I want to free you for the game purposes, but I also don't want to crawl underneath your legs for very obvious reasons because I'm a awkward boy in middle school.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
only all the
I
girls.
never had that experience with a
The girls
guy
would
teacher.
free all the girls, and the guy would free all the guys. I didn't. It wasn't just the guy teachers. I mean, it might have been a day we had a sub and we're working with one of the guy teachers. I don't know, but I did it too, and I had a girl teacher all 3 years. But it was like the girl. It was sort of. It was sort of like universally decided, like unanimously, without any speaking, that the girls would just free the girls and the guys would free the guys because
Yes.
it's much less awkward that way.
It was so like, okay, like the boys would just dive bomb under, right? But the girls were all like, crawling. And like by the time you just get tagged because you're literally on the floor. So and then they just tag you both. Let's be honest, because like it takes so long. And you're just down there defenseless.
And it's also
Well-
really hard because you want to be as close to the ground as possible. So it's like you couldn't even just sort of crawl normally. You like literally laid down on the ground
It's like
and
an
sort
army
of
crawl.
army crawled, but not even barely army crawled. You just like were completely flat against the grass, sort of like just scooching with your forearms.
And you
like
don't
you
want to be
weren't
like,
even
hey,
on your toes.
can you widen your legs so I can? It's like there's a thing because you can either go like this so you have more width, but you can go height, but then you have more distance between.
Yeah,
but then also.
Okay.
It was so
Okay.
bad.
Going
On
back
that
to
note.
dance unit, we're gonna move on from this because I'm scared for you guys and what you guys had to go through. I never had to go through that. I already gave out all my weird dance stories because either see How to Be a Jerk 101, one of the bonus clips previously, or see the Smurf episode where I had a Smurf story while dancing. So I'm just gonna do a wholesome one now because I ran out of the bad ones, So in freshman year we had dance unit. We did square dancing, but before that we had partner dancing. And I was so scared I wasn't gonna get picked because I didn't really know most of the guys in the class. Like, to be honest, I talked with most of the girls, but that was about it. And the guy asked me, and then he danced with me for the rest of the partner dancing, and it was really nice. And we talked the entire time. And then yeah, that's it. It was just a good dance, like because it wasn't awkward with the guy-girl dancing type of thing. And we already had done dancing in middle school with partners, so we sort of kind of implemented that into the dancing. And she made us do like, she'd be like, okay, now we're gonna do this style where you move your hip a lot, and I'm like, what? But it wasn't awkward, and it was really nice, and we just talked the entire time. So
Honestly,
not all dance units are awful, as we've sort of kind of portrayed it.
I wish there was less of a stigma around the girl-guy dancing. Just sort of in general, right? It's a little better in high school, although not much. But it can't really be helped in middle school. But the whole, like, oh, a guy plus girl is automatic, like, ooh. Not only is that just grossly heteronormative, right? But that it's like, come on. It's like, can I just, like, dance with this dude without everyone being
Make it sound
weird
like they're
about it?
having, they're just dancing, guys. You don't
Like-
need to ask them, like, they just,
Like,
So-
yeah, and it's just like, it's not something I probably wouldn't normally mind. I mean, I'd definitely be a little bit awkward, but that's just because I'm dancing with literally anyone else, and that makes me awkward because I am a socially
sweaty
awkward
hands, weird movements,
Oh, sweaty
you know.
hands.
Yeah,
It would be
like-
right after you ran. You had to run and then dance, and so you're just all sweaty.
Plus, the PE uniforms are always unflattering. Like those shorts and those shirt, it's just I
No one
look
looks
gross
cute in
all
that.
the time. No one looked cute. I especially didn't look cute, and I was like, man, I don't want to be
Look like a
up close
blob
and
of
personal
bread.
with someone while looking like this, right? But it's like totally like the sort of like what happened with you and the dude is like you just you pick someone to dance with and you just sort of you chill or you make pleasant
Yeah.
conversation and it's not weird. It's only weird if people make it
'Cause in-
weird.
In
And I
high
hate that
school,
people
you
make
can
it
pair with
weird.
the same person the entire time, and his friend went with my friend, so naturally, like, it just worked out that way, even though we weren't near each other because it was like in a line of two people, weirdly enough.
Mhm.
But like, But it doesn't ever have to be weird. And in high school, because you get to pick the same person if you want to, you can just like continue talking with that person instead of having to choose someone new, get through that awkward phase, and whatever. You just like stick with the same person for.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of nice if you again, this is assuming that people didn't make it super weird. Is if you chose someone you didn't I'll wrap it up quickly. If you chose someone that you didn't really know that well, and then you could just like get to know them. Like that's a mandated time. Like 3 times a week that you have to 4 times a week that you have to 3 times a week because mile that you had to like be with them and like talk with them. It's like it's like you get to bond over the fact that you're both doing this kind of like strange awkward thing that you have to do for school.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know, I feel like it could be really chill. Like it could be a really chill time to just sort of
exactly. So it doesn't always have to be a bad experience is what we're trying to say. There are some good experiences we have all had. They just aren't as funny to bring up. So if you haven't had dance unit yet and you're like younger than us, I hope you have better experiences than us. If not, it'll make for a great story with your friends. So that's the moral of the story, and this bonus is A, we don't know how to answer a question, and B, we love a good awkward dance unit era of our life. So, yeah. See you guys in a couple of months. This is our last official post for a while. So, I don't know, if you have more stuff you want to watch and you haven't watched our previous episodes yet, they're pretty funny. So maybe go check them out. And yeah, we'll see you guys back in 2 months. Bye, guys.